Welcome to Black Sheep Tarot. And if you are a black sheep, welcome to your home away from home. This is your host, Mario. And today we're going to be talking about when is the relationship over? Also, attachment styles. And if you don't know what attachment styles are or which one you are, stay tuned. So I have some new cards here. I'm going to use them from time to time because these are Carl Jung's actual cards, the Jungian Tarot. All right. And we'll start off by reading the cards that are up in your screen, on your screen. So we have Death is the first card. The second card is the Ace of Pentacles. And the third card is the Devil. And the very last card is the Three of Wands. So moving forward. So death, a transformation, right? Something that you need to change, all right? You need to have an end to have a beginning, and you need to change for things to change. But we'll read what Jung says death is for his cards. It's the archetype of transition. Okay? Healing, point of no return. Mystery, magnetism, the very principle of human generation by which one comes into the world and through which one returns. All right, so like an end of a cycle, all right, a rebirth, if you will, right? Great resources, inner power of imagination and of constructive abilities, a repository of secrets, like attachments. What are your attachments, right? Some secrets. And so the second card up there is the Ace of Pentacles, right? Pluto in Capricorn, security destroyed, revolution in the material world, known structures destroyed and cleared away. Revolution brings down government, businesses, ruin, and bankruptcy. Marriage and family collapse, traumatic events, then uncertainty about what comes next. Dust has settled, the root of all matter and of principles that matter is self-renewing. That's the second card, all right? So then the other card is going to be the Devil, which is Capricorn, archetype of the shadow. That's card number 3. All right. So we're talking about some attachments, maybe some lustful ways and things like that. Okay. I mean, these are all old habits that you need to fix before you can continue, or at least be aware that you have them. Again, archetype of the shadow, material force. Okay. It's a lot of material. You know, you're of the earth, a lot of material here. Steadfastness, control over the material condition, which is at once thoughtful and serious. Diplomacy, extreme conventionality, caution, and frugality. Only science is taken seriously. Religions, intuitions, and schisms are considered to be nonsense. Nonsense, if you didn't get that. All right, and then the Three of Wands at the very last card there. Three of Wands, Neptune in Aries, fantasy and mystery, hidden currents of controlling energy within the collective unconscious. Collective energy, not individual. Loss of individuality into something greater. intuition, religion, mysticism, the occult. Okay? So again, we have death. We need to transform. Where we start is where we end. Then we have the Ace of Pentacles of abundance, opportunity. Okay, so you're going to get an opportunity if you change. But first, you need to let go of some attachments or shadow self or addictions, temptations. You know what that is. All right. And the Three of Wands is moving forward. Okay. So what we have here, what came to mind is have an unhealthy attachment to your partner. Healing is possible. What is an attachment? The emotional bonds you form with other people are essentially to your mental health. Healing from relationships that hurt you can make a difference. Attachment refers to the condition and relationships you hold with others. The quality of these bonds is often a result of the early relationship you had with your primary givers, your parents, your grandparents, your aunts, whoever helped you or whoever helped raise you. Okay, understanding whether or not your attachment style is unhealthy can help you start your healing path towards stronger and more fulfilling relationships. This is good. These are good things to know if you're moving forward in a new relationship. I know I am. So I've known some of these attachments, and it just happened to come across my table. And so I'm going to read a little bit about it here. All right. So what is an unhealthy attachment? Psychoanalyst John B. developed attachment theory in the 50s. The theory explores the relationship between the bond of your former with your first caregivers and how it affects your relationships throughout life. In sum, attachment theory says that if you had a secure and safe relationship as a baby with your parents, you'll tend to form secure relationships with everyone else. Did that happen to you? How are your parents? How was your childhood? If, on the other hand, your caregivers were not reliable or did not attend appropriately to your needs as a baby, you might tend to establish anxious or avoided relationships as adults. This is very important for you to understand. Okay, how was your parents? Were your parents narcissists? Was one of your parents an alcoholic? Was one of your parents, one of those people that like to step out on each other? That is very chaotic. So if you do come from something like that, anxious and avoidant relationships are considered unhealthy or insecure attachments. We have the devil, we have the death, we have the Ace of Pentacles, and we have room to grow to move forward. That's why we're reading this article, because they can often lead to relationships that cause you great anxiety, distress, or emotional pain. How was your last relationship? How was it? Keep your last relationship in mind. Alternatively, you can also form attachments to objects. These attachment objects can play a role in how safe you feel. For example, a security blanket can help a toddler feel comfortable and secure in the absence of a caregiver. As an adult, you could form an attachment to food for the same reason. You could form these attachments to objects as a way to avoid certain emotions or feelings. When this is the case, this is considered an unhealthy object attachments. All right. So underneath the death card, all right, I pulled another card, and it is these Six of Cups, and that is this card here. This is a new deck. This is Carl Jung's deck, all right? So it's going to look a little different. But pretty much, this card is talking about childhood memories, childhood love. So these things have been with you since you've been a child, okay? So now that Ace of Cups, that opportunity, a financial opportunity or a new venture, right? Maybe you're looking for a new relationship, okay? The card that I pulled to talk about the Ace of Pentacles is the Queen of Swords. Okay, so it's unbiased. It's a just person. Not much feelings though, right? Because the Queen of Swords can be very cold. Now, what that Queen of Swords also does is uses her sword to cut things out. And I will explain a little bit as we move along here. Now, under the Devil, I pull another card to, to find out more about the Devil. And that is the Five of Wands. That is a lot of fighting. Okay? That's like this. See? Fighting. They're fighting a lot. All right? So that's number 3 card. All right? And then moving forward, I pulled another card for the 3 of Wands. It's the Hermit. And the Hermit looks back, isolates himself, and thinks about everything that's been going on in his life. So again, this attachment style has been with you since you were a child because it stems from your parents or lack thereof. And then the opportunity, which comes in with the Queen of Swords, so you can cut those things out, those addictions, those characteristics of an unhealthy attachment. And then on the Devil was more fighting. Okay? Competition, debate, rivalry, things like that. All right? So I have all the cards out. Characteristics of unhealthy attachments. General signs of an unhealthy attachment include, please listen and see if you have any of these, okay? Using a relationship, object, or job to define your sense of worth. You see, sometimes, a house, a car, a certain wife says a lot about you if you don't know yourself. Okay? Another thing, rely on others for approval is another unhealthy attachment. Having a hard time imagining life without the other person or without an object is unhealthy. Neglecting your basic needs to prioritize someone else. If you're not sleeping, if you're not eating, if you're not exercising, right? These are unhealthy. So let's say you have an anxious attachment, all right? So if you had good parents who loved you and raised you, who were there all day long to help you to develop and fed you the right food and cared for you and took you back and forth to school and all that, okay, you have a secure attachment, so you really don't have to worry about much. But if you didn't have a really nice childhood, you might have an anxious attachment. When you have developed an anxious style, okay, of attachment, you may tend to show these signs in a relationship. Now, as I read these, please see if this is you. Okay, and I will go into what you can do about these so you can help yourself. That's why this channel is here, all right? So, feeling or being perceived as needy is an anxious attachment. Codependency tendencies is another anxious attachment. Tendency to act in jealous ways is also anxious attachment. Difficulty managing alone time or not being in a romantic relationship. Feeling unworthy of being loved. Fear of emotional and physical abandonment is anxious attachment. Difficulty trusting others. Constantly looking for reassurance and validation. Okay? Now, we're going to go into another style of attachment called avoidance. Are you here? All right? I am in the avoidant attachment section here, and I'll go over some of the things that I've done to help me cope with this. Okay, that's why I am looking for a girl, a partner, someone that I can spend time with, share good times and not so good times. Okay, so avoidant attachment. If you are here, please listen up. This is very healthy for you. If you know you have a problem, dude, that's half the battle, okay? Avoidant attachment. When you have an avoidant attachment, you will tend to show these signs in relationship. Again, listen up. Fear of intimacy is an avoidant attachments. You don't want to get attached to anyone. Emotional unavailability is another reason of avoidant attachments. You know, because if you just avoid it, you won't get hurt, right? Difficulty forming new or lasting relationships is also part of the avoidant attachments. Relying on yourself and believing you don't need anyone's love or support. That's me. You know. But, you know, I did take 13 years to work on my problems. 13 years, okay? I read articles like this. I spoke with a lifelong friend of mine about certain things, and it was good to talk those things out. And I hope that you have a friend that you can talk about these things as well. The very last thing is for avoiding attachment is difficulty expressing your feelings. Okay? How to work on yourself to heal unhealthy attachments. Here we go. Identify your attachment style. Are you anxious or avoidant? To be more specific, in your healing journey, try to identify your attachment style. Okay? Mine is avoidance. This will help you become more aware of which thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are unhealthy. Yes, that is so true. Because when I see potential partners, there's things that I tend to avoid that I know is a problem. And as long as I know it's a problem, I can work on it. Okay? Try to explore instances where you've been attached, where you have attached your self-worth to people. Jobs, that was another thing for me. Material objects or something else. Consider writing examples of unhealthy relationship you have held and how they've affected you. We all know about therapy, but most of us can't afford it. Most of us don't have $50,000 to go to a therapy. Hey man, let's see, 24,000 for a week or 10 days. No one has that kind of money. I can't say no one, but the majority of the public doesn't. Number 3, focus on self-discovery and growth. This is what I want you to do for yourself, because this is what I do for me. Focus on self-discovery and growth. Taking time to explore your values, needs, and beliefs can help you define yourself outside of your relationship. Developing self-respect and awareness can support your healing process. Here are some exercises. These exercises can help you power your self-discovery journey. Meditation. What I do is when I wake up in the morning, obviously I thank the man above for letting me live another day. Letting me have my home, my lights, my AC, my heater, my close friends, the blood circulating through my body, and so on and so forth. Meditation, take 10 minutes. Take guided meditations if you don't know how to meditate on YouTube. This is another thing I do. Journaling with prompts. I don't know what prompts are, but let's see what that is. Prompts. That's a very long article. Let's see. Prompts. A journal prompt is a starting point. It can be a phrase, a question, or an idea you start building on. Okay, that's what that is. And forgive me while I find my place here. All right. So, my bad. Sorry. Excuse me. This is why I don't like doing this. Okay. Sorry. Journaling with prompts. It didn't take me back to where I was, so forgive me. Practicing intentional living. All right. What does that look like? Go out, live your life. Try to live in the present. Try not to be. If you are anxious, you're worrying about the future. If you're depressed, you're worried about the past. Makes sense, right? Grounding exercises, like going out and taking off your shoes and walking on grass. All right. A car battery needs to be grounded. So the car needs to be grounded. Every building in this world needs to be grounded, but you don't. Right? Go hang off a tree. All right. Go hug a tree if that is what you wish. Identify self-sabotaging behaviors. Okay? Like avoidant or anxious attachments. Setting boundaries. All right? That's another thing that you need to work on. And I have worked on setting boundaries. All right? So tips to work on your relationship. If you're in a significant relationship, whether it's a romantic partnership, family relation, or friendship, pretty much any relationship you have. All right? That's what this means. And you believe it's worth exploring how you relate to each other. These tips may help. Here is tip number 1. Identify each person's attachment style. Okay? You know yours now. What about your partner's? All right? This is another thing that you should talk about with your new partner. I know I'm going to. Consider starting again by identifying each of your attachment styles and how they become evident in the way you relate to each other. Try to discuss the differences, if any, in how you navigate significant bounds and what you expect of each other. Number 2, seek professional support. We know this, it's expensive, all right? Number 3, improving communications. This is very big for you. It has worked out for me immensely. Open and honest communication is key in any relationship. By pledging to be fully present, okay? Not thinking about your past girlfriend or your past husband, how she or he was so good in the sack. Because that don't mean shit. I mean, yes, you have, but once you take that out, you have nothing. Trust me, I did it. You can address any challenges while you're feeling safe and supported. That'll also help prevent endless arguments. Wouldn't that be nice? That damage the bond and may contribute to feeling of emotional insecurities. Meaning you're always going to have a girlfriend and then you're going to have problems and then you're going to break up. This is going to be a cycle, okay? That's why you have death, which is transformation, which you need to get rid of your attachments, right? Establishing boundaries is number 4. Working together to set boundaries in a relationship can help each person retain their sense of self while feeling safe when attending to their own needs. Establishing boundaries may start with identifying those behaviors you won't tolerate and express how you feel about those to the other person. Do you argue a lot? Do you shout a lot? Do you assume a lot of things? Hey, these are all part of the problem. Okay? Number 5, letting go. Sometimes when you explore yourself and the relationship, you may find there are few reasons the relationship has become unhealthy. If you cannot find a way to manage or solve these dynamics, or one or both people are unwilling to change, the best next step might be ending the connection. I had to, and that was 13 years ago. I now feel ready that I'm ready to be ready. When to end a relationship. How do you know when it's time to move on from an unhealthy attachment? Consider these situations when you try to decide whether or not you want to continue working on the bond, or you may be ready to let go. One or both people are unwilling to make positive changes. Okay? You're in a relationship with a controlling partner who isn't aware or is unwilling to explore solutions. One or both people's needs go constantly unmet. Boundaries are persistently crossed or ignored. You experience physical or emotional abuse behaviors. You are systematically ignoring or neglecting your own needs and wants. And the very last one here is your efforts and support strategies are not working to heal the attachments. This is how you know when the relationship is over. So let's recap. We're almost done here. The way you navigate your adult relationship, plural, is often related to the early bonds you formed with your parents or caregivers. If your guardians consistently cared for your needs as a baby, it's likely you developed a healthy and secure attachment style. If you, on the other hand, weren't consistent with your care or didn't respond to your emotional needs, you might have developed an anxious or avoidant attachment. These are considered unhealthy attachments because of the distress they may cause you. But it's possible to change attachment styles and heal or end those bonds that hurt you. It may start with self-awareness and continue with boundaries. Self-care, going to the gym, eating the right food, stop eating burgers, stop eating pizza, stop going out and drinking, stop having meaningless sex. All right? And professional help would not be such a bad idea. So again, if you like the way I read, give me a subscribe, give me a like, so other people can find a home away from home. And I will see you in another video.